Hey everybody, it's your favorite movie addict CJ, and welcome back to Cinematic Reviews. Grab some popcorn, get your M&Ms ready, and let's talk Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Way together. One last time. Into the forever and beautiful sky.
Alright, so Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out on May 5th, 2023. Looking at the box office here real quick, it grossed $845 million worldwide. It looks like $358 million just in the US and Canada on a budget of $250 million. This was a pretty big movie, especially with the first two installments being really popular amongst the Marvel fan base, particularly the Rocket, Chris Pratt characters, and of course Groot being voiced by Vin Diesel, who ended up getting his spin-off miniseries, I Am Groot. So a lot of really big Marvel fans have grown to absolutely love Guardians of the Galaxy, and I am one of them. This is one of my favorite parts of the MCU to revisit, and Volume 3 was freaking awesome. I'm going to step on rankings a little bit here, but this is my favorite of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And it's one of my favorite MCU movies of all time. It's so good. It's so well done by James Gunn, who was going to not direct this movie after a falling out with Marvel and then hopping over to DC. But he ended up coming back before that and filming this movie, which is great because I love it when directors finish what they started, when they kind of take control over a portion of the franchise. And James Gunn definitely owns this part of the franchise, this cosmic part of the MCU, and he does a fantastic job at it, especially with this movie, which is great. Giving you a brief synopsis of the movie if you haven't seen it in a while. So this one is mainly centered around Rocket, which is far overdue. Rocket is my favorite Guardian. He's one of my favorite MCU characters of all time. If Spider-Man wasn't in the MCU, he would be my favorite. I love Bradley Cooper's voice that he does for Rocket, and I love the Rocket character overall. The CGI is fantastic on him as well, with the mannerisms, with the attitude that he has to go with Bradley Cooper's voice that he decided to do for Rocket, and it's fantastic. But it centers around him learning more backstory, which leading up into this movie, we got a bunch of rumors, and eventually was confirmed by James Gunn that this would give us the backstory behind Rocket, which was always hinted at in the first and second movies, but they never really showed us how he became Rocket. And this movie finally shows it and what he's gone through. And it is a heartbreaking story. It makes me love the character even more after watching this movie because of what he has gone through, what was taken from him, what he had to conquer in order to meet the Guardians. And the way that he treats the Guardians from the beginning and where he is now makes a lot of sense for what he's been with, because he's had those traumatic events, those people that he cared about taken away from him, and he just kind of boxed off everybody until he found the Guardians, and he has fallen in love with them as well. And it's a really, really heartwarming but also heartbreaking story as well with Rocket. But so he ends up getting attacked by Adam Warlock, who is created by the those gold people in the Volume 2. I can't remember what the Sovereign, that's what they were called. Had a little brain fart there. But the Sovereign, we got that post-credit scene at the end of Volume 2 kind of hinting that Adam Warlock was coming. And well, he's coming in this movie here. And he ends up attacking the Guardians on Nowhere, which is where they're based at. He injures Rocket severely to where he is dying. And they have to find a way to heal him, bring him back, whatever they got to do to save him. And that involves them going back to where he was created, finding some sequence or data code that will hopefully help heal him, bring him back to life because he's been damaged. And that's kind of what kickstarts this entire story, is saving Rocket. It's Chris Pratt Star-Lord trying to save his best friend Rocket, and it's truly heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. It's fantastic. It's a great story. I love almost everybody in here. There's one character in particular that we're going to talk about here briefly when I run through all the cast, and it's quite an extensive cast. I think this has got to be one of the most cast lists that I'm going to be going through that we've ever done on the podcast. But and I'm sure Doomsday is going to be even bigger. But this is quite an extensive cast. But there's one name in particular that I just have no idea why she's in here. You could probably guess who I'm thinking of. But to give you a little bit more backstory before we jump into that, while the first two Guardians movies took place mere months apart, if you remember, Volume 1 and Volume 2 were just very close together. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 actually picks up in real time, which is nearly a decade later. So they have been Guardians for over 10 years. So there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of really trust and love. That's really all it is. And it's over this 10 plus year span, which is mind boggling because I didn't realize that they had been together this long. You know, they've been through the Infinity War. They've been through Endgame. They've been through Love and Thunder together. They went through the first two movies together. After this, they had gone through the holiday special together with Kevin Bacon, which we've already talked about on the podcast. It's truly amazing the fact that they have got to be like one of the longest running groups that we've had within the MCU. I don't remember how long like the Fantastic Four has been together, but they are such an essential part of the MCU, and I absolutely love them. But yeah, so 10 years later is Volume 3. So looking at this cast is quite a bit, so we're going to kind of run through this here real quick. Like I said, Bradley Cooper voices Rocket. Once again, this is his story. Peter Quill, a.k.a. Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt once more. This really kicked him off into stardom. And then this movie in particular, he's kind of died out there post-Jurassic World. But this kind of picked it up for him. And to me, he would always be Andy Dwyer in Star-Lord. Like, he was really good in Jurassic World. He's been in a bunch of movies since then. But Star-Lord and Andy Dwyer from Parks and Recs is who I know Chris Pratt as. Drax, Dave Bautista returns as Drax, who is just as lovable and dumb as always, but he's such a joy to be around. And Dave Bautista in real life is actually that nice. He is the sweetest guy you'll ever meet. He is awesome. Mantis is also back, played by Palm Clementeith, who we met in Volume 2. This is before the holiday special, so we do not know that she is Star-Lord's brother, but now we know that since we covered holiday special on the podcast. Nebula is back as well, played by Karen Gillan. She actually announced today that I believe she said Secret Wars is going to be the last... No, Doomsday, I think is what she said, would be the last time she plays Nebula. So, question mark, maybe she's dying? We'll find out there, but Karen Gillan has confirmed that she will not be playing Nebula going forward. Now Gamora, played again by Zoe Saldana, who I absolutely love. But this is the 2014 version. If you remember in Endgame, they went back in time to 2014 and met Gamora, Thanos, and Nebula and all those in 2014. Well, 2014 Gamora was brought over into the current timeline and stayed. She is now a Ravenger. She's leading the Ravengers out there in the universe. But I just don't understand why she's in here. Like, she really has nothing to do in here. Her death to me is now not as impactful as it was in Infinity War because now she's back on screen. Like, I get it. It's a different version of Gamora. It's a 2014 version of Gamora. But I don't see a purpose of why she's in here. And it kind of takes me out of the movie a little bit. It's like, hey, you died in Infinity War. I'm supposed to be sad that you're not here, but you are here. I think it would have hit harder if she wasn't in this. And Chris Pratt had to deal with that loss, like, really. But in here, he's more of like just a sick puppy dog, like Nebula calls him, looking for love, a shoulder to hold. And it affects the Star-Lord character to where you're kind of like, I'm not really liking Chris Pratt in this movie either because Zoe Saldana's in here. Now, I love Zoe Saldana. She does a great job as Gamora. But I just see no purpose in putting her in this movie. It's just, it was a bad idea, and it was a mistake, I think. It takes away from her epic death in Infinity War. It just, I wouldn't have done it. Kraglin returns as well, played by Sean Gunn once again, the brother of James Gunn. He's fantastic. He's learning how to do the arrow and all of that, and then he finally learns how to control it via a brief cameo by Michael Rooker, who plays Yondu, kind of giving him some motivation in how to control the arrow. He uses his heart. Cosmo, who we talked about briefly in the holiday special an episode or two ago. But this is actually where we're introduced to her, the talking space dog that can fly, and hopefully we'll get to see her more. We don't really get to know her a whole lot in this movie or the holiday special. We just kind of just know her name and that she can talk and she can kind of fly around. Now, the High Evolutionary is the villain of the movie. He is a character that I was never exposed to growing up. When I watched this movie opening weekend and they said the High Evolutionary was the villain, I was like, I don't know who the hell that is, but cool. Well, I did some research, and in a little bit when we're done with the cast list here, I'm going to go through some beyond the page stuff where we look at the comic versus movie version of him, because I wanted to do some research. I want to get to know him more. So if anybody out there is not familiar with him either, hopefully this will kind of help bridge the gap a little bit on the difference between him and the comic book. But I think he was great in here. He was actually a really good villain. He's a sadistic son of a bitch, but he was a really good villain in what he did. And we're going to talk about him more in the villain scale today in a couple of scenes that I brought up for the iconic scene segment. But he was actually a really good villain that I enjoyed watching on screen. Not what he did, the actor. Adam Warlock is introduced finally, played by Will Poulter. Will Poulter is kind of making a name for himself post We're the Millers. That's the first thing I remember seeing him in. Again, doesn't get a whole lot to do in here. He doesn't really need to be in the movie, except for he's the one that causes Rocket to get injured to near death. So, I mean, that's really his only purpose in here, is to injure Rocket. Otherwise, he's kind of just a dumb oaf that's just walking around with superpowers and is a child. Aisha of the Sovereign, played again by Elizabeth Debicki, who we met in Volume 2 as well. She's back briefly. She's the one that created Adam Warlock. She's working with the High Evolutionary. So that kind of ties in Volume 2 with Volume 3. Nathan Fillion, who is a friend of James Gunn, has made an appearance in here on the Orgoscope, which is like this living planet. He's one of the staff members that kind of oversees the facility, but it's cool to see Nathan Fillion going. Michael Rosenbaum appears in here. If you don't know Michael Rosenbaum, he played Lex Luthor in Smallville. He's a good friend to James Gunn as well. I believe he was in Volume 2 as well as part of Sylvester Stallone's crew of Avengers. And then we're introduced to Rocket's friends, who we're going to talk about at length in iconic scenes, but I wanted to mention them at the top of the episode. So we have Lila, who looked like he was most closest to, played by Linda Cardellini, who plays Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye's wife in the MCU as well. And then we're introduced to Teefs, who is the walrus with the wheels for legs. And then Floor, who was this rabbit in this with her mouth closed, but she could still speak through it. And then she had like spider legs, so she was walking around like a spider. And then Lila was an otter with like robot arms. So like very disfigured animals, and it's really gruesome to see what the High Evolutionary is doing to these animals, the experiments that he's doing on them to make the perfect species. But those are his friends that he meets getting locked up. Rocket, of course, is one of the experiments as well. You know, pulling apart, putting them back together as a raccoon. Like I said, directed by James Gunn. Once more, we'll talk about him a little bit more during the behind the scenes. There's some backstory behind the whole thing about him getting fired and things like that. But a couple notes here, and then we'll get into all the segments today. I've already kind of said this already, but this is the best of the trilogy. This is a fantastic movie. I love the music. I love the story that they tell Rocket. This is Rocket's movie. It's a beautiful story. It's a heartbreaking story, but it is a beautiful story of getting more backstory. And I love the character more as I watch this movie. It's truly outstanding the way that James Gunn made Rocket the focal point of this movie, and it's just truly fantastic. All right, so let's talk about the High Evolutionary a little bit with Beyond the Page. This is where we look at the comics versus the movie. So in the comics, High Evolutionary is a scientist from Oxford, but in the movie, he's just a cosmic level scientist who's doing a lot of these experiments in the cosmos. In the comics, he is a caretaker of life and actually helped Scarlet Witch and the Fantastic Four, among some other Avengers as well, protecting life, protecting the Earth. Where in the movie, he's actually an abusive god complex with no empathy, and he tortures animals. So complete 180 on the comics. And then speaking of the comics, one last note here. He evolved his own mind and body across decades. He ended up getting psionic powers, cosmic awareness, telepathy, and then a high-tech exoskeleton that makes him nearly immortal. So in the comics, he's very, very hard to kill. Well, in the movie, he relies heavily on his advanced technology, surgical dominance, and then his corporate empire to manipulate DNA, which is the Orgo Empire, whatever I think is how it calls it. He kind of oversees the Orgoscope, which I was talking about Nathan Fillion briefly. And then he also still possesses enhanced physical strength and durability, but Rocket is able to kick his ass and tear him apart, which is kind of the one nitpick I have for his character. He seems to be easily beaten towards the end of this movie, whereas in the comics made him sound like he's like an Avenger level threat in the comics. Like, it takes a lot of power and strength to destroy this guy. In the movie, they kind of take care of him like he's nothing. So that was a little nitpick I had for the character, but we'll talk about him a little bit more on the villain scale. Anyways, let's move forward with the segments today. First up, iconic scenes. This was tough, but I have one in mind that when I was rewatching the movie today, I was like, that is the iconic scene for me. But I'll give you some options here before I reveal that. So Rocket getting severely injured by Adam Warlock. That's how the movie opens up. It's a very dramatic, very chaotic opening of the movie, but it's really well done. You know, Adam Warlock gets introduced, get to kind of get familiar with him. For those that aren't familiar with Adam Warlock, if I remember right, in the comic books, he's the one that wields the Infinity Gauntlet, not Iron Man, against Thanos. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the one that was wielding it, or was like able to wield it. That's why a lot of people thought that he would appear in Endgame, which I think was discussed, but they decided to hold off on it. But this is a good scene. It's a very scary scene. You get that really emotional scene where Rocket's in the med bed. They're trying to heal him. Chris Pratt's like snot crying over him. He's like beating his chest, trying to help him. And then they realize that they have to find out where Rocket came from and save him that way. Guardians fighting the staff at the Orgoscope, which I said was like this living, breathing planet facility that they do some experiments on. That's where we get to meet Nathan Fillion and a bunch of other ones. It's a pretty chaotic mess, but it's a pretty fun fight sequence that they have towards the end of their time at the Orgoscope. I always think of like the bright orange colors and the bright white colors, you know, how James Gunn's like to be really colorful and weird. And then Rocket watching his friends die. Now, this is the scene that is going to be iconic for me. This is such... Every time I watch this scene, I have to fight by tears. And I'm not gonna deny it. You know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do cry during movies. And this is one of those scenes where I'm fighting back tears. It's just a heartbreaking scene to watch where, you know, Rocket's got this plan of saving them. He built this cool little key card that'll open up the cages. He gets Lila out. They hug finally, and she gets shot by the High Evolutionary in the chest. And it's insane. And not only that, but you get Rocket just screaming in pain over her body. But then on his right, you have Floor coming out of the cage, and she's just screaming in panic. Rocket teeths Floor go now. You know, like, we gotta go, Rocket. We're gonna die. She's freaking out. Rocket's like, can't believe that his best friend is dead. And the High Evolutionary is just laughing and is like, hey, I warned you. And then he ends up attacking him, scratching the shit out of his face. Some other guards come in. He starts shooting those guards. But during that gunfight, Floors and Teefs end up getting shot as well. And he's got to stand over his three best friends' dead body. And it just broke him as he escapes in his ship. And then that's where the story takes off for Rocket. But it's such a heartbreaking story to watch. And it's such an emotional scene. And it was really, really well done by James Gunn. Very, very terrifying as well. Like, it's frightening. The hallway scene with the Guardians. You mean Disney loves their hallway scenes. Star Wars with Darth Vader, and with Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian. You've got now this scene in the hallway with the Guardians just fucking kicking the shit out of the High Evolutionary's army. It's really, really well done. It's a very fantastical looking scene. Like they did it all in one shot. It's truly spectacular. I love it. And then the last scene I have is Warlock saving Peter. Now this scene is iconic, but not for a good reason. This is iconic because it's like, how many times are we going to tease a death and not commit to it? Now this one in particular, it's like, did we really need Peter to like sacrifice himself again? And he's like blowing up in space, and it's like, this dude is dead. Like there's no way he's gonna survive. And then Adam Warlock at the last second saves him. I just think it was kind of a cop out, but hey, I get it. Pratt was trying to save his best friends, and he wanted to sacrifice himself because he doesn't have Gamora. I get it, but it's just like, I think we could have did a little better than that scene. But like I said, my most iconic scene is Rocket watching his friends die. It's such a gruesome and dramatic and heartbreaking scene. It gets me every time. I'm fighting tears every time. It's just so well done. Legendary lines. There's a lot of lines here, but I do have a favorite. It's not a happy one, but I do have a favorite that I think is legendary. It's the line that I think of every time I watch this movie. But we're going to go through the list here before I reveal that. So a couple here from Rocket. Someday I'm going to make great machines that fly, and me and my friends are going to go fly together into the forever and beautiful sky. And then at the very end of the movie, when the Guardians finally meet up again together, Rocket's healthy, everyone's together. They're like, we got to get out of here. And Rocket goes, I'm done running. And he pumps his gun up, and he's like, let's go get this son of a bitch. I love it. It's like the most epic let's fucking go moment is when Rocket's like, I'm done running, and he gets his gun ready like he's just about to fight the world. It's awesome. This one from Nebula. Drax, you were never meant to be a destroyer. You were meant to be a dad. Which is a really nice, warming, heartfelt message from Nebula, who's always been this cold and emotionless robot, essentially. And she realizes Drax's true mission in life, and that's to be the dad. You know, he lost his daughter because of Ronan. Now he has found some new kids to be a father to, the kids that they rescued from the High Evolutionary that were being experimented on. It's a really touching moment there. I already mentioned this one, but Floor panicking right during the death of Lila. Rocket teats Floor, go now. She repeats it like 100 times, and it elevates that scene even more to make it more heartbreaking. A couple here from Mantis. Humans only live to 50. What's the point of even being born? And then Mantis talking to Rocket. He makes us talking about Rocket. He makes us laugh. He loves us. That's his purpose. Talking to the High Evolutionary about trying to find Rocket's purpose. Well, Rocket's purpose is to make his friends laugh and to love them. And that was really a nice touching moment for Mantis to say about Rocket. And it really kind of makes you realize that, yeah, Rocket's really changed since he met the Guardians. And it's really, really good. A couple more from Drax. Even my butt is capable of a metaphor. And then this one always gets me. Mantis, you asshole. He just blurts that out. And this one from Peter. Screw you, you stretched-faced, RoboCop-looking Skeletor wannabe. Purple, nurple, pizza, and then they cut him off. He's just kind of listing through all the 70s and 80s movie tropes from the time that he was there. That was really good. But my legendary line today is Rocket teeps Floor, go now. That Floor panicking and saying that line over and over and over and over again, it just gets me every time. It's the first thing I think of when I hear the title Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's just that whole scene just gets me, and Floor just repeating that line over and over and over again until she's unfortunately shot. It's truly heartbreaking. So that is my legendary line today for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. All right, let's kind of wrap up the segments here with Behind the Reels, where we talk about facts that you might not have known about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So Rocket's subject name is 89P13 in the movie, which the High Evolutionary refers to him as. He doesn't call him Rocket. Had previously appeared on his mugshot in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, along with his alias Rocket. So we already mentioned what his number was with the High Evolutionary. We just didn't connect the dots if you weren't familiar with the comics. This film sets the record for the most makeup appliances used in a single film, totaling 22,541 prosthetics, 500 wigs, and 117 pairs of contacts by the end, and used across more than 1,000 actors. Kind of like a side note on this one, Legacy Effects handled the film's special makeup applications, and they created more for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 than they were made for any other film prior. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey one, held the previous record for this. So that is a lot of makeup and special effects makeup. That is truly outstanding. I mean, there's a lot of different creatures and things like that in this movie, so it makes sense, but that is a lot. Karen Gillan owns a 35-pound life-like model of Chris Pratt that Pratt himself found to be horrifying. I'm there with you, Chris Pratt. I don't know why the hell she would have that. That is creepy as shit. But she has it. Director James Gunn was honored by PETA for his portrayal of animal experiments in the film. I mean, I remember when this movie came out, PETA was like a massive side note on this movie. Like, they praised it. They're like, oh my God, thank you for finally giving animal justice their need in a movie. Which, you know, James Gunn is an animal lover. He's got a dog, and I mean, I love animals too. So I'm not surprised there. Zac Efron was a fan favorite to play Adam Warlock. The initial reaction to Will Poulter's casting was mixed, since many remembered him from We Were the Millers. That's where I first saw him. Matthew McConaughey was also rumored for the role, but James Gunn denied this, saying he was too old. Yes, he was. He did consider McConaughey to play Ego, the Living Planet, in Guardians Volume 2. I think McConaughey would have been awesome as Ego, but I'm glad they didn't use him because I want him for a different role. I want him for Green Goblin, a.k.a. Norman Osborn. I think he would be great. But back to the Adam Warlock here. I think Zac Efron would have been awesome. Now, nothing against Will Poulter, but I think Efron would have nailed the shit out of Adam Warlock, and I kind of wish they would have went that direction. But maybe Zac Efron will be a different character in the MCU. And then lastly, Adam McKay was in talks to direct after James Gunn was fired. So James Gunn's firing was a big topic in Marvel when this movie was announced and getting made. And then now currently he's heading up DC Studios, which, if I'm being honest, is kind of in the shitter right now. Which is unfortunate because I was very excited when he was brought on to basically take over DC. You know, we had the Zack Snyder era, a couple of projects afterwards that just didn't really work out, and then James Gunn took over, and I mean, his Superman movie is really good. Peacemaker was fine. Lanterns, which we're going to talk about at the end of today's episodes briefly. I'm going to give my reaction to the first two episodes. I really like Lanterns. I hope they continue that story. You know, there is already talks of James Gunn being out on DC, like him getting fired because he hasn't really done anything. But we have Man of Tomorrow coming out next summer, which I'm very excited about. You know, Supergirl flopped hard at the box office, but I really like that movie. So it's kind of interesting spot for James Gunn right now. But so apparently, if you weren't aware, I have some backstory to give you on James Gunn's firing, and then we'll jump into all the rankings here real quick. So James Gunn was supposedly fired from Disney back in 2018 for old and offensive tweets joking about pedophilia and rape being resurfaced online. He basically got Me Too'd. And so that's kind of where the big, you know, line in the sand got drawn. You know, Disney's like, we're going to put up with that shit. You're out. Well, they let bygones be bygones, I guess, and they brought him back to direct this movie, and now he's with DC. Which is unfortunate because he's one of the better directors in the MCU, honestly. We've had a lot of really bad directors, and he's up there as one of the best with the Russo brothers, with Jon Favreau, James Gunn. Like, I really, really, really like his style when he directs, and you can tell that he really puts his heart into it. But that gives you at least some backstory. If you weren't aware, if you were forgetting the firing with James Gunn from Marvel, but he did come back to direct this movie, which is great. The whole cast was like on his side, and they're like, we need James Gunn, like we have to do it. So it's good that he came back. Anyways, let's get to a better note here. Let's switch over to the rankings. All right, first up with the MCU rankings. Let me pull up the list here. We're going to go through the top 10 MCU projects. So let me pull up the rankings here. I'm going to tell you right now why I looked this up. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is number 10 on the list. So we're going to start there. At number 10, we're going to work our way up to number 1. So Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, number 10. That's where I got it. It's so good. Looking at what's right below it, at number 11, Daredevil Born Again. Number 12, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And then at 13, Thor Ragnarok. 14, Fantastic Four First Steps, which we'll talk about later on. And then at number 15, Hawkeye, which is a really great show as well. But I really love the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's the best of the trilogy. It's one of my favorite MCU projects, one of my favorite Marvel projects ever. It's truly fantastic. I absolutely love it. The fact that they made Rocket the focal point of this movie, who is my second favorite character of the whole MCU. Like, this movie was made for fans like me who absolutely love Rocket. It's an incredible movie. I love it. Number 9, this is where I put Spider-Man Far From Home, which I know has been a hot topic on my channel, with me revealing that I have Far From Home way too high, apparently. A lot of people, a lot of fans do not care for this movie. I love this movie. I love Tom Holland in it as Spider-Man. I actually really like Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. This is where we really get to see that chemistry start building between MJ and Peter. Happy is back in there, which is awesome. We have Peter dealing with the death of Tony post Endgame, having to become his own superhero. Like, I really like the story they're telling in there. It's a different Spider-Man movie than we've gotten before. It'd take them international. I really like it. So it comes in at number 9. Number 8, Captain America: Civil War. Fantastic movie. Love it. It's technically an Avengers movie, but it's a Captain America movie. Number 7, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. One of the best, not just Marvel movies, one of the best movies I've ever seen. I know a lot of people compare it to The Dark Knight, and it kind of is. It's like, this is Marvel's Dark Knight in a way. But I really love, that's my favorite performance by Chris Evans, I think, for sure, aside from Endgame. But yeah, he's fantastic in there. I love Winter Soldier. Number 6, Spider-Man: Homecoming. One of the best Spider-Man movies out there. I really, really like Homecoming. It was a great way to introduce Spider-Man officially to the MCU. I love Michael Keaton's Vulture. It's a really, really good kind of origin story, but it's not an origin story because they don't show him getting bit by a spider. But like I said, it's a really good introduction of a character into the MCU. I really like it. Number 5, Avengers Endgame, which is another hot topic on my channel when people found out that I ranked Infinity War over Endgame. Well, that's just how I think Infinity War is the better movie. Endgame has a lot of confusing time travel crap. It's got a lot of movie bullshit in there. And don't get me wrong, it's a cinematic dream, and it's fucking awesome, and I love it. But when you get to the nitty-gritty and you look at the movies, I think Infinity War is just the better movie. It's got the better story. And I know Tony dies in there, and it's such a heartbreaking moment, and it is. And you have Captain America finally wielding Mjolnir, but that's just fan service to me. And Infinity War is a good movie, and that's how I view it. So at number 4, I have Avengers: Infinity War. I think it's the better movie over Endgame. Number 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, which we're gonna be talking about here in a couple weeks. Really love it. It's Ryan Reynolds at his best. It's the best Wolverine I think we've gotten since, aside from Logan maybe, and Logan would be the only one that I think could go up against it. But I really love Hugh Jackman in here. I know it's another fan servicey thing, and it kind of contradicts my disagreements with Endgame, but Deadpool and Wolverine's a good movie. It's a fucking really good movie, and it's just fucking awesome. It's really, really good. It's a good story. It's got great action. It's awesome. And then number 2, Spider-Man: No Way Home, which was my favorite MCU movie for the longest since it came out, until Spider-Man: Brand New Day came out in July. This is my number 1 favorite movie. This is the best MCU project. This is what Marvel should be doing. I really, really love this movie. It is the best Spider-Man movie that we've gotten. It's the best Marvel movie, either MCU or outside of the MCU. this is how you do a comic book movie. It looks like a comic book. It feels like a comic book. Tom Holland is at his best as Spider-Man. It's such a heartbreaking story where he's learning he's discovering these new powers and then dealing with not being with MJ. He's got the best buddy cop version that we've ever gotten with the Punisher in the MCU. He's got an epic fight with the Hulk. Jean Grey is a really good villain in here, and it's a great introduction of Sadie Sink playing Jean Grey in the MCU. This is the formula for Marvel, I think, is to look at Brand New Day and go, this is what fans want. This is the cinematic experience that people want from a superhero movie. It's fantastic. So Brand New Day is number 1 for me. So that is the top 10 MCU projects for me. Go ahead, flood the comments below on your thoughts on that list. Let me know what your top 10 is, because I'm very curious on what you guys think and what you guys like. So go ahead and do that. Next up, the villain scale. We can't forget about the villain. And that is the High Evolutionary today. Well, we're going to get the motivation, we're going to look at the costume, and we're going to look at the performance. Performance is great. He is a sadistic motherfucker, and he does it so well. He is got to be the most sadistic villain we've gotten in the MCU, next to maybe Thanos. And I guess we'll see what Doctor Doom brings for us in Doomsday. But High Evolutionary is a sick motherfucker. What he does with the animals, like, oh my god. Motivation. He wants to create the best species in the world. He wants to create perfection. I mean, cool. I mean, it's a pretty simple motivation. It's not that groundbreaking. But hey, I get it. You want to be perfect. You want to create perfection. You're not going to get it, because that's what the Guardians try to understand him, that the imperfections of people are what make you love them. It's a little cookie cutter. It's not really that compelling of a motivation. So it's not like Thanos. It's not like Doctor Doom. Probably Doctor Doom's probably going to be a 5 Thanos head villain. And then the costume's fine. I mean, he's dressed in purple, and I mean, his powers, don't really get to see him use his powers a whole lot. Well, he doesn't really have powers. He kind of force chokes Adam Warlock a little bit, but his costume is kind of whatever. He got some cool makeup where you can tell like his face was like put back on like a Spirit Halloween mask, because Rocket scratched the shit out of his face, and we get to see that disgusting face at the end where we reveal what Rocket did. And boy, my guy Rocket really went to town on that face. But yeah, so with all that said, I'm giving him 4 Thanos heads. He's a sadistic motherfucker. But he's not quite on that level of Thanos. Vulture, I think I put as a 5 Thanos head villain. Like, I mean, he's up there. He's up there. But it's just, you're missing that motivation part, and the costuming is kind of whatever. But the performance is really what holds this up, and that's why I'm giving him 4 Thanos heads. He's something else. Last but not least, but the popcorn rating. Golden Popcorn. It's a top 10 MCU project. Giving it the Golden Popcorn. It's heartbreaking. It's heartwarming. The music, the performances, the villain, the fact that it's centered on Rocket, and we get to just finally understand why Rocket is who he is. It was so well written, so well directed. The costumes look great for the most part, except for the High Evolutionary. Probably could have did a little bit better there. But this movie is it's just fucking awesome. I love it. So this is a Golden Popcorn movie for me. It's top 10 with a bullet. Absolutely love it. So check out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 if you haven't in a while. I would watch it before Doomsday. I don't think it was on the official list of like what to watch before Doomsday, but go ahead and watch it. It's freaking awesome. I love it. Such a good movie. All right, well, that's the popcorn rating, and that is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 review. But we're not going to roll the credits just yet. Stick around, because we're going to get some news and reactions coming up. We've got some big heartbreaking news coming up. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll dive right into it. All right, welcome back. It's been a tough week, guys. We got not 1, not 2, But we got 3 icons that have died in just days of each other. Dolly Parton, Tim Curry, and today it was announced that Peter Cullen had passed, the voice of Optimus Prime. This sucks, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on. What is happening? What is in the water? But 3 iconic legends have died, and it's so heartbreaking. These are three icons that I grew up watching. Like Tim Curry, I remember seeing him in The It, in Home Alone 2. It's Rocky Horror Show. Like, it's Tim Curry was awesome, and I'm gonna miss him. He was great. Dolly Parton is such an icon in music and acting. Voice of an angel, and I always remember her as the grandma on Hannah Montana. She was great in there. And then Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime himself, like, his voice will echo into eternity. Like, he's got such an iconic voice, and it just sucks, especially when, and we just had Hayden Panettiere like a week ago pass away. Like, that's 4 within 2 weeks. What the hell is happening, guys? I just don't get it. This sucks. But hearts and prayers go out to them. Hope their families and their friends and those closest to them are doing all right. And this sucks, guys. This really sucks. These are icons, and I'm dreading the day when Morgan Freeman dies, when Michael Caine dies, and Willem Dafoe dies, and Denzel Washington dies. Like, it sucks, guys. It sucks. Let's get to some better news here. Kit Harington is now playing Gilderoy Lockhart, apparently, because Nicholas Hoult had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. Didn't see that one coming. He just got done filming Lex Luthor, so I was like, okay, cool. He's free. Nope, I guess he's got other projects coming up. So Kit Harington, you probably recognize him as Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. He will be playing Gilderoy Lockhart in the Harry Potter Season 2. Next up, we have a reaction today. This one has been on the back burner for a while, and I finally got to it. But Lanterns. Lanterns is awesome, guys. I love Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. We get introduced to Jon Stewart, played by, I need to look up his name because I do not want to say his name wrong. I've only seen him in one other project, Rebel Ridge. Aaron Pierre. Sorry if I screwed that up. He plays Jon Stewart, and that scene at the end of episode 1 where we see him in the current time looks so much like Jon Stewart. He is Jon Stewart. He looked so good. So to kind of give you a brief backstory of these first few episodes, so it actually, most of the show takes place in 2016, it looks like. Kind of in a small town. Hal Jordan is training Jon Stewart to become the next Lantern whenever he bites the bullet. And we jump forward at the end of the episode 1, and it's revealed that, okay, hey, this is in the past. We're telling a story to kind of get you caught up into where we are now in 2026. Hal Jordan is dead in 2026, but his ring is missing. Jon Stewart needs to get his ring. So that's I think that's kind of where this story is going, is how does Hal Jordan die in this DC universe? And how does Jon Stewart become the next Lantern? So I know a lot of people online were like, how could they do this to Hal Jordan? What? Calm down, guys. Calm down. We're getting Hal Jordan. We're getting Jon Stewart. It'll be all right. Everybody, calm down. It's really good. And I think Kyle Chandler is fantastic as Hal Jordan. He's an arrogant, sarcastic asshole, but you can tell he really does care, and he wants to do the right thing. He wants Jon Stewart to be the best Lantern because that's what he had to be. And I don't mind the suit. I know that's another thing everyone's trashing online. I don't mind the suit. It looks pretty cool. Now, yeah, I would like some more bright green on it, but hey, he's been through hell. He's battled, I'm sure, a lot of enemies, and the suit gets damaged. Maybe Jon Stewart gets a fresh new one as he becomes a new Lantern. I guess we'll find out. But I do like the suit. It's pretty cool. I like this show a lot. This is one of my favorite projects in the DC universe. as of late now. Like, this is really, really cool. I'm really liking this episode. So this will premiere an episode every Sunday night. When this show is over, we'll have another reaction to the entire series. But so far, within 2 episodes in, I'm liking this a lot. It's really, really awesome. I like Kyle Chandler in it. Aaron Pierre is really awesome in there. Garrett Delahunt as the piece of shit cowboy. I mean, he's a piece of shit at heart. I love seeing him come in as an asshole, but in this one, he's a cowboy asshole who is hunting Manhunter. They're counting aliens, and we get to introduce the Manhunters in James Gunn's universe, which is pretty cool. So yeah, check out Lanterns on HBO Max today. New episodes air Sunday nights. I think at like 8 or 9 o'clock. So tune in for that. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Watch the show every week on YouTube and Spotify. You can also listen to the show on your favorite podcast network. Also check out and follow the social media pages on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Shows everywhere. So go ahead and follow and check out all those. Also check out the official website of the podcast, cinematic-reviews.com. Until next time, keep it cinematic, everybody.